Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the latest and greatest female voices in the industry, from artists and songwriters to producers and managers and all women in between. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Crazy Women Country. Today we have a special guest. I'm Donna.
I'm Paula. And our special guest today is Ashley Taylor.
Welcome, Ashley.
So, Ashley, what have you been up to recently?
Just a lot of different things. I've been working on some new music. Been trying I was supposed to play a bunch of shows this year, but clearly with COVID and everything going on, those have kind of gotten moved to next year. So I've kind of taken the downtime just to write a lot of new songs, work on new music. I'm working on some stuff with like my fan club just to try to stay connected with people during this time, and just lots of new different things on the horizon, working on a couple videos and just trying to keep myself busy, staying at it.
Perfect. So how have you found the transfer? Obviously you do a lot of songwriting yourself. You brought out your EP last year. How did you find the transition between being a songwriter to then being a recording artist?
It honestly, there's such different worlds. I mean, when I moved to Nashville, I moved here to be just a songwriter. And I wanted to write songs and have other people sing and record them. And that was the whole reason why I moved out here. And that's what I was doing. And then I was here for only a couple months. I want to say maybe six to 8 months. And literally every meeting that I walked into, every person I met said, "I think you're an artist." And I said, "No, I don't think I am." And they're like, "No, really, I think you are." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so I really had to learn and kind of learn how to be an artist, if you will, because, my whole goal was just to write songs. And when you're an artist, especially an independent one, I mean, you have to, it's recording music, it's releasing, it's so much business and marketing. But I found that I absolutely love being an artist. And now if you were to tell me, to pick, I'm like, I don't know if I can choose just to be a songwriter or be an artist. So I love being both. And that EP that I put out last year, Bakersfield, that honestly just kind of came about through, it's like I had written all these songs for other people. And there were certain songs, though, that I really wrote just for myself. And nobody else wanted them or, could sing them. They were just too personal. And so I kind of took that and was like, well, I guess this is who I am as an artist. And just took the songs I wrote and brought it to an EP.
It's a great EP, by the way.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I'm a firm believer, like, starting out as a songwriter, that it's all about the songs and it should always be about the music. And it took me about 3 years to record that EP and just kind of make it what it is. So I'm really happy that you like it. So thank you.
Yeah, I love some of the songs, especially Cake. Now, I would never thought I'd get an artist who can compare Cake to a relationship. Yeah. I'm like, that's great. Yes, that rocks.
And this is so funny to me too, because actually that song is a true story. There was a guy that I was dating who was just a jerk. I mean, he was horrible. And he stood me up on my birthday. And I was, yeah, I know. Everyone's reaction is that, by the way. I love that. Just gas.
How could he do that?
Yeah, so he stood me up on my birthday. Yeah. And so I was hanging out with some friends, and they clearly knew this guy just stood me up. And they were like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know, but all I know is I want a man to look at me like I look at Cake. And we all just started laughing. And I sat down the next day and I wrote that song, and I wrote it as a total joke. I thought nobody will ever listen to this. This is, just a fun song. It's whatever. And I played it out one time and it's like my most requested. So I just think it's hilarious because I never meant for it to be this thing, but people get it. I mean, they get it. They relate.
Well, yeah, it's like a dog looking at a human, you know what I mean? It's the same sort of thing. You look at food like, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's totally relatable. I love that song. As soon as I heard it, I was like, but it's kind of sad, but then you've also got the whole funny side to it. So I was like, do you cry? Do you laugh? Do you just, you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
I absolutely love it.
Great. Well, thank you. I'm glad.
No worries. It's a great song.
So are you originally from Bakersfield? Because that was the one song that when I started listening to it, I was like, I just like this. This is just so awesome. Like, you feel like it's your hometown too.
Yeah, that I am from Bakersfield, California, so that's my hometown. It's where I'm from. That song actually came about through, I think, a pretty cool way. But like I said, I moved out here to be a songwriter, and I basically, to get to Nashville, I sold everything I owned. I had never seen it before. I just got on a plane and I came out here just trying to make it happen. And when the plane landed in Nashville, my very first day, the very first place that I went to was the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. And I love history. I love music. I'm like, this is the place. So we went in there, and, the whole time, because like I just never seen Music City before, I was just so overwhelmed on how cool this town is. And just everything that I saw, just even by driving the car, I'm like, wow, this place is incredible. And I immediately started thinking how cool Nashville was, but I'm like, man, I come from like a farm town out in the middle of nowhere, California, like so not cool. And, clearly Bakersfield, though, does have this very, very rich musical history. I mean, we're the birthplace of country legends like Merle Haggard, Buck Owens, just that whole Bakersfield sound era. And so I walked into the doors of that museum, kind of making fun of my little, farm town that I come from and saying how cool Nashville was. And I looked up, and there was like this giant sign. You could not miss it. And it said, now exhibiting the Bakersfield sound. And I went, oh man. So I spent my whole first day touring this museum, having everybody in Nashville tell me how cool my hometown was. And it really just stuck with me. And I was like, man, I'm really proud to come from such a cool little farm town with this rich musical history. And so that night I sat down on a bunch of boxes. I hadn't even unpacked anything. And I grabbed this old guitar of mine, and I literally wrote that song in about like 30 minutes. And like I said, I came here to be a songwriter, had no intention of being an artist. But at the time, it was just something that I wanted to write because that is my story in a song. So when I was getting ready to make an album and kind of go through all that process, that definitely stood out to me to be the title track. So there was just nothing more perfect. It's where I started, so first album, it's like, hey, title track, very clear.
Perfect. I love it.
So now I was listening to some of the other songs that you have written, thanks to Spotify. And so what is your favorite song that you have written for another artist? I know that's a hard question.
Such a good question. It's a really hard one. I would say one that I'm very proud of is I wrote a song with my good friend, Mr. Noah Smith. And Noah and I met at a popular show here in Nashville called Revival. And if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like where Luke Combs and all those guys got their start. And it's kind of a big deal if you play it. So I played it for the first time, and Noah sat next to me. We're sitting on this church pew in the middle of a bar, and we're like, man, we got to write. And so when we got together a couple weeks later and we just started talking about like Jesus. We started talking about being a musician and what it's like to, go play a 4-hour set in a bar on Saturday night, and early the next morning you go to kind of our and so the song that initially released. And the song was really cool, and I was really happy with, but I cannot tell you how many people hear that song. It's almost like to people, it means something different. And I've had so many people, though, tell me that is which is the coolest thing for someone to hear something and it literally changed their life in such a way that they're like, man, I haven't done drugs in over a year. I haven't done this, all because of a song I wrote. So that definitely is one that means a lot for that reason.
That's amazing. If you could write with anybody, who would you like to write with, alive or dead?
Hands down, Brandy Clark.
Yes! That's what we're waiting for.
I want to be Brandy Clark when I grow up. I'll tell you, I embarrassed myself. I met her one time, totally embarrassed myself. I have no shame though. I got in her autograph line after a show she played here in Nashville, And I walked up to her, you know, so she could like sign my poster. And she said, "Oh, I really like your shirt." And I really like your songs. Yes. But, you know, I would love Brandy Clark. She is my hero. She is my biggest influence. I love her, and I wish someday I could write with her. If that happened, my life is done.
That's so awesome.
I hope we can keep writing after. Life after Brandy.
I really it's like a fly on the wall why she writes. The way that she says things, you know, like you were talking about Cake, my song Cake just a minute ago. You know, Brandy is very good at writing songs kind of in the same way Cake is, of kind of having like a serious message and a little bit of dark humor, but she makes it so great to listen to, and it just hooks you. So yeah, if she's listening, call me. We'll get together.
Maybe we should make this a Crazy Women Country task. Can we get Ashley and Brandy together for a writing session?
Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea. So, I just want to come sit in.
That's a great idea. You live in a... Yeah, we'll come and watch.
Yeah.
We can do it over Zoom. We'll be quiet. We'll just sit in the background and watch.
Yeah, we'll figure ourselves out.
Yeah, I mean, hey, y'all are more than welcome. I don't mind. So honestly, I feel like if I wrote with her, I think I'd probably agree with every line that she threw out. Like, you know, it's probably the greatest thing I've ever heard. Just every line. I'm just like, wow, so good.
Yeah, that's great, because I mean that's how Crazy Women Country got together. Me and Donna are both fans of her fan club, and we met through her fan club. So,
oh wow, oh my gosh, what a small world. No, I'm actually a member of her fan club. I full on geek out. I really do. So I don't feel like it's hard for me to feel nervous around people, but I definitely idolize her a lot. So.
I love it. I
know. I fell in love with her from 2006, the first time she wrote with Liz Rose, and it was on the radio. That's why I hate Pontiacs. That was from that song on. The imagery of that song just seemed to have changed so much in, you know, the writing of lyrics in country music.
Yes. Her and Liz Rose. You want to talk about a combination of amazing writers right there. I was, I don't know if you guys watch her new series, the You Can Come Over, But You Can't Come In.
Yes.
I watch it every week. But she had Liz Rose on, and I was just eating up every word those two girls were saying, because just so much great advice on like writing in the industry, and I was just geeking out. But yeah, great writers.
I love it. That is so cool.
So leads into our next part. Our next part, we talk about your inspirations and your sheroes, the women that you admire. So other than Brandy Clark, obviously we know that's like the ultimate. Is there anyone else that you'd like to mention that might be your shero?
Oh, of course. The very first country song I ever heard was Coal Miner's Daughter by Loretta Lynn. So Loretta Lynn is definitely a huge hero. Again, just like you want to talk about a woman who can write amazing songs that was so ahead of her time. I love her attitude. I love who she is as an entertainer. I saw her live for the first time. It was her 85th birthday, and she was over at the Ryman. And she's clearly much older nowadays, and she can't remember a lot of the words to her songs. And I stood there for 3 hours mesmerized. I mean, I think she played like the same 3 songs because that's all she could remember. And then she would just stop and she would just start telling stories. And I was just so into everything she did and said. So definitely Loretta Lynn. Dolly Parton, huge Dolly Parton fan. So yeah, I mean, just there's so many great women of country, and clearly being from Bakersfield too, there's a couple Bakersfield sound artists. There's a couple people like Kim McAbee, who is, the female backup singer for Buck Owen and his Buckaroos. And there's different people like that, women especially, that I think have really kind of shaped me and kind of helped me to be like, hey, it's okay to be a woman in this industry. It's all right to tell stories. It's all right to be yourself. So yeah, just really grateful for having women and role models like that.
Totally. If you could talk to anyone, who would it be, alive or dead?
Ooh, just like anybody?
Anybody.
Ooh. You know, I've always said that I would either love to have a beer with Jesus or pick up a guitar and pick with Johnny Cash. Just either both, one of the two. I'm not going to be picky, but I think that would be so cool. I mean, can you imagine just I mean, there's that Thomas Rhett song, Beer with Jesus. I would love to, you know, I don't know, so many questions and just get to on a personal level. I mean, his music is amazing, but I'm really fascinated by him as a person. You know, just, I mean, there's so many different stages like you. I feel like with all the life, he would just be a great person to get advice from. Just so many different, so many sides of him that I'd love to ask about.
That would be one jam session, wouldn't it, with him? That would be amazing.
Oh yeah, I'd be so in though.
That would be fantastic. That really was.
Could thank someone for their support throughout, obviously, everything you've gone through, you know, selling everything to move to Nashville. Who would it be? Or not just one person, maybe you have a group of people or a team that you'd like to thank. And who would it be?
Yeah, you know, there's a songwriter here in Nashville by the name of Clay Mills, and he's written a lot of big songs. He wrote like Don't Think I Don't Think About It by Darius Rucker, Beautiful Mess by Diamond Rio. He's just written a lot of stuff, and he was actually a huge reason on why I came to Nashville. So I met him through an event basically when I was still living in California, and he told me, he's like, I think you're awesome, but if you stay in California and you write songs in your bedroom, you're going to get any further. And so he really encouraged me to Nashville. And so, I mean, he's really the reason why I think I got the courage to kind of sell everything, never see where I'm going, and just hop on a plane and make it happen. So I feel like I really owe a lot to him, and he helped me out a lot when I first got here. When I first moved here, I didn't know people that let me stay on their couches while I tried to write songs, and you know, just a lot of people that kind of just hung in there with me. I know you always hear artists takes a village. It's not just us, it's people, and it's the case. I'm really honestly blessed to live in Nashville because there's nothing like the music community here. The way that you support other people. When I came into town, nobody, I mean, nothing. It's just and people just welcome me when they are, you know, advice. They let me stay on their couch. Introduce me to others. So many people to thank that I can be here for hours telling you all the names. But they know who they are.
Well, it's good to know that, you know, when you take that you in Nashville there for you, hope to have a bit of a safety net when needed type thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think too, it really helps that, and this is music, but honestly, other kinds of artists that move here. You know, there's people that love to do like drawings and painting and just all kinds of different things. But I think we're such a town full of people that do not like come from here, that have all come from around the world to be here. And we're all creative. And so we really just, it's something I think you should have to experience to get, but it's pretty powerful. It's an amazing thing.
Perfect. That's it. I'm staying up now. I'm coming to Nashville.
Oh, yeah.
Do anything about it.
Yeah.
I'll be knocking on your door. I need a couch. Yeah.
Hey, I got one. Come on.
There you go. Perfect.
Well, if I make it up there in November, I'll let you know, and then maybe we can go see a Brandy Clark show.
Oh, there you go.
I'm totally on that. Come on now. Hit me up.
That's so not fair. I'm way too far away for this. You'd have to put me on camera and I can just sit there pretending I'm with you.
That's okay. I'll do my cell phone and we'll just carry you around Nashville with us. It's all good.
That sounds perfect. Okay, so the quick fire questions. Okay,
I'm
they're dead
nervous.
easy. Oh no. They're fun questions. So it's the first answer. Okay, so you've got a set of 5 or 6 from me, and you've got a few more from Donna. Okay, so as I said, they're dead easy. They're just a bit of fun. Okay, are you ready? We should have a timer. See who does it the quickest.
Ready.
Okay, electric or manual toothbrush?
Manual.
Beach or countryside?
Countryside.
Favorite season?
Fall.
Biggest fear?
Rats.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
Favorite drink?
Margaritas.
Perfect. I love that.
If you were a musical, what would you be?
Probably Annie, Get Your Gun.
I love it. I love
Okay.
that one.
What film genre would you be?
Comedy.
So what if you were any kind of Disney character, what Disney character would you be?
Oh, I'm definitely Belle from Beauty and the Beast. I'm told that all the time.
I love that film. That's one of my all-time favorite films.
Mine too. Mine too.
What mythical creature would you be?
Well, if you catch me before 8 a.m., you would probably say the Loch Ness Monster. So.
I love it, the Loch Ness Monster. That's great.
If you had a superpower, what would it be and why?
I would probably say to fly, and probably just because I don't like traffic. I would just like to fly over the the happenings of down below.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
that
and Nashville's great with traffic. I was there a couple of years ago for a convention. I was like, oh my god! I knew that I had to leave 40 minutes ahead of the scheduled time. Yeah. So.
Yes. Oh yeah, no, I live like a little outside of Nashville, I'm probably like 18 minutes from downtown. And when I have to go like downtown for a gig, my fiance makes fun of me because I complain the whole driving time. Like once we get there, I'm fine, but it's just the traffic gets so bad, and I'm just like, just doing my whole bit.
I don't have traffic here. We have no traffic here. I don't think Spain knows what traffic is. Yeah, I'm not in England. I'm in Spain. Spain, because I don't live in like big town Spain. Obviously they have traffic there, but because we're in the countryside, there is no traffic. If you see 4 cars on the road, it's like, come on! But yeah, we don't see cars. We don't see cars.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
That's the reason for leaving the UK. The amount of traffic in the UK is like, oh, I can't stand it at night.
Yeah, no, not a fan of it. Can't do it.
The worst thing in the world. Okay, now, this is the most important question, okay? You got to think long and hard about this one. Who is your favourite CWC host?
Oh, guys. Both of you.
I love this.
I can't pick one. That's so not fair.
I love it. I love the look of that. What? Why did you ask that question?
I know.
That's why we asked it.
Do you like salt and pepper? Do you like PB&J? Like, no. my favorite duo?
That's like... No.
Yeah, I opt out of that. It's just both of you. That's the only way.
There you go. That's 2 points to both of us.
Yeah, no, you guys work really well together. You guys do it great. You're, killing it. So.
Good. I love it. That's great support for us. I think that's great. But no, it's been an absolute blast to talk to you. I hopefully we can do it again soon.
Yes.
So when you're out on the road, we could bring this up on Zoom when you're on the concert. We can join you.
Awesome. I'm all about it. Yeah, no, thank you guys so much for having me. So it's been so great hanging out with y'all.
No worries. It's been really good. So yeah, hopefully everything gets better for you. You take off. You'll get your number 1 next year.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great. Make it 20, right? Next year, number 1.
Yes. Hopefully next year we'll get it. And hopefully Brandy Clark will be on the phone saying, "Come and write with me."
Yeah.
Yeah,
If I had to choose between writing with Brandy Clark and a #1, that's a really tough decision. So, so yeah, maybe both can happen next year. That would be great.
That would be